Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. Sitting next to me is Mike Brenner. Today is March 2nd, and we are continuing our series of videos on NCAA Tournament seeding trends. Today we're going to take a look at 6-11, which is an interesting matchup. It is, Mike Brenner. Let's start out by just acknowledging the obvious, which is straight up, very 50-50, right?
Well, since 2001, number 6 is a 36-24 straight up.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Well, because the last 5 years, they're 10-10 straight up.
Yeah, the last 5, but I'm going back. Where I've been doing my research for this series is through 2001 up, just to kind of get a whole look at since they've been doing it. But yeah, 36-24, but 50-50 the last 5.
I mean, when you go back that far, you get a bigger sample size, which is good, but you're also including, it was a different tournament a bunch of years ago.
It sure was, but that's good. You've got a breakdown for the, the lesser time period, and I got the bigger one. But I'll tell you what, though, only 29-30 against the spread, though, since 2001, so that's not real productive.
The favorites.
Yeah.
Last 5 years, 12-8 against the spread.
Very
and
productive.
Another thing that I've noticed is that, a lot of these, I've noticed that there are tendencies for various seeding matchups to have accurate spreads and inaccurate spreads. And the 6-11 games, for some reason, the spreads are very far, the final score, the spreads are not very accurate, right?
Okay.
And the team that covers ATS usually covers by a margin. And actually, over the past 5 years, out of the 20 games of the 6-11 matchups, only 4 of them have come close to the spread. 16 have been margin covers.
That's crazy.
Yeah, very interesting. And also, of course, when the 11 seed is the favorite, the 11 seed has won 4 out of the last 5 times over the last 5 years, although last year was one time it didn't happen. But again, 4-1 against the spread, and all 4 of those covers were by margins.
Yeah, that's huge. That's profit.
Yes,
that is.
So that tells you when the 11 seed is a favorite, think heavily about first of all betting on them to advance, picking them in your brackets, and also to consider betting on them because they've covered by margins, except again for last year. So looking at the possible number 6 seeds: Indiana, Purdue, Notre Dame, Cal. Right?
Yes.
Do you have anything to say about any team that might be a 6 seed that you think?
I'm even thinking maybe Texas, Dayton, Arizona, even because of Arizona dropped off a little bit. I mean, I even had Iowa on there, but I think Iowa's going to be a little bit higher than that.
Sure. I'll tell you what, if we see Indiana, Texas A&M, Wisconsin, or Arizona as a 6 seed,
I like
I like all of them.
I like all of them. Yeah. Absolutely. Against the spread, I love them. Now, what do you think about 11s? I mean, Temple and Wichita State, believe it or not, these are two, especially Wichita State used to, be predominant in the last few years, but they're dropped down. There's a projected that Temple and Wichita State could end up in 11.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would be probably strong seeds as 11 seeds. Wichita State has had a few stumbles this year, a few sort of unexpected stumbles, but for the most part, they've been great, and they ran off like 10 straight ATS covers in conference play. So Wichita State
you know what I like also, and I don't mean to cut you off,
who
I think would be a dark horse for an 11 to cover because of the strength of schedule they played this year and the upsets they pulled off, and that's Monmouth.
Monmouth, oh yes. They have. I know they've been awesome as a team and against the spread at times.
I just did some research on them. I'm looking forward to that opportunity. I'm going to cash that.
But Wichita State, for example, if they do fall down to the 11th seed, like you're suggesting might happen, that's a perfect example of a team that might be an 11th seed that's a favorite and then winds up covering by winning by 15.
Absolutely,
as like a 4-point favorite.
And same thing with Temple too. UCONN as well. UCONN has just been so inconsistent. Kevin Ollie's got his hands full there. But you notice also when it comes tournament time, UCONN turns on a light switch that.
Yeah, that does happen a lot.
It sure does.
And UCONN, that's interesting. They were actually, you remember there was that one year where they made a deep run, but the first game they played was an OT game that they barely got by.
Yes, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, so that just shows you how wacky the tournament can be. You can have teams that make deep runs that almost get eliminated in their opening game as a favorite.
There was one other team on the number 6s I didn't bring up that I thought, and that was Pittsburgh. If they slipped to a 6, that might be one because they've won 4 out of 5 now, or 5 out of 6, something like that. If they get in to that bracket and they're ranked, they're a 6 seed, I like them to cover against the spread as well because of the momentum they've been showing as of late. I do. All
right, so to sum up, keep what I told you in mind, Mike Brenner. They have not been close to the spreads for the most part in the 6-11 matchup. So if you see something like
the last 5 years, absolutely.
So I'll tell you what, like if Wisconsin is a 6 seed and a favorite, and I like them, I might look for them to get a big cover as opposed to having to sweat it out at the end. And then if we do wind up seeing an 11 seed as a favorite, despite the the fact that last year that turned out to be a loser. 4 out of the last 5 they've advanced, and I think we would look more than not to look for them to cover and to advance, right?
Absolutely. Sure.
All right. Yep. You have any final thoughts, Mike Brenner?
And final thoughts, Pete. I'm fired up for this tournament to go.
Right.
We're creeping up day at a time, and don't forget to tune into the NCAA Basketball Odds Couple show with Pete and I also.
That's right. Our next video will cover the 7-10 matchups.
Looking forward to it.